Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Good evening. Tonight we will present a year in review, and it has been one heck of a year. We welcome you to the Wilbur Mansion. How many of you have been here before? Okay, well, you're in for a treat. This is a wonderful place. We welcome our friends on Zoom to the 2023 annual meeting of the Bethlehem Food Co-op. A quote from Pele, world-renowned soccer player: "Success is no accident. It takes hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing and learning to do." That I get choked up sometimes. I'm talking about our board. I cannot express enough of my personal gratitude for the board of directors, Toby Shelby of California, New Mexico, and our newest member of our team, Eric. Let's meet the board. Oh, I'm such a baby. Anyway, Heather Terrible, sitting to my right, is our vice chair. Dominic Breininger, sitting to her right, is our treasurer. And Deb Fritz, as our secretary, sitting almost to Dominic's right. And move chair. Cindy Glick is our arts chair. You're going to hear exciting news about art in our store tonight. Todd Mertz is our diversity, equity, and inclusion chair. And also, he ran this entire election for us this year. Justin Bieber, the chair of our sourcing committee. Tony Marino, our technical guy tonight, is branding. And I wanted to thank him for the beautiful presentation. And then Kathy Fox is our membership chair. Toby Massey and Shelby are our project managers. They are online. And of course, I said it already, we're so excited to have Eric as our new GM. Tonight, we will hear from every board member. Eric, SBS, which is where Toby and Shelby work, Small Business Solutions, with the results of their commitment to the Bethlehem Food Co-op. Okay, we need the next slide. Did it go? That's the thank you slide. I'd like to thank, first of all, our member owners who have diligently helped us to get to where we are today. So many volunteers, so many contributing financially to us. We're just so excited about it. These four, Mayor Reynolds was a member owner long before he became mayor of the city of Bethlehem. So he's very committed. I'd like to do a special thank you to our mayor. He said in a newspaper article, "This is not a project for the city of Bethlehem. This is my #1 project for the city of Bethlehem." We're also so very grateful for Congressman Susan Wild and her belief in our mission and her passion for Bethlehem and for the Bethlehem Food Co-op. Senator Lisa Boscola, we want to thank her for her commitment to the co-op and ongoing work representing us in the Pennsylvania Senate. And then, of course, we'd like to thank Senator Bob Casey, who advocated for us for the grant, and we appreciate his support of the Bethlehem Food Co-op in the United States Senate. Our sincere thanks again to our member owners. We so appreciate you. A little bit of housekeeping. Most of you noticed when you came in the door, the bathrooms are right inside the door if you need to use them. And also we have a coffee station in the back. Please help yourself to desserts, coffee and tea, and whatever you would enjoy. A friendly reminder, we will not be asking or taking questions during our presentation. We are going to have a time at the end of the presentation where you can comment on the presentation. So we would appreciate you waiting. If you have questions, jot them down or put them in your phone, and you certainly can give them to us at the end of the presentation. So, and all questions will be directed to our annual report. So this is a little different than a normal meeting. I think we're moving on. There we go. A year in review. We have a building. How about that? What do you think? Yes. And it looks like we will take possession of that building by the end of the year. And we will go in with all of our consultants who have been working with us for the past 2 years and actually do a fit out. We received this year another grant from the PA Fresh Food initiative. That was $50,000. We received a $5,000 grant from Fidelity Bank. And we worked diligently with the city of Bethlehem to secure our funding from Congresswoman Susan Wild. And we so appreciate working with the city, with city council, with the staff working for Mayor Reynolds has been wonderful to us. So I have one thing to say. We're this close. We are this close to getting the grant, for the Susan Wild grant, which will be a game changer for us. In the winter of 2022, we received a donation from Social Still. How many of you eaten or been to Social Still? They did a signature wet whiskey for us, and we sold it, and we received a check for $1,041, and we created a new LinkedIn page. In spring of 23, we launched a sold-out town hall meeting with our friends at Roasted in the South Side Arts District. When I say sold out, nobody had to pay to come. We just ran out of room. So it was quite successful. 1 month, that was thanks to Todd. That was his idea. 1 month of marketing with First Commonwealth Credit Union. We spent a whole month in that bank credit union talking to their customers about the co-op. And that idea came to us from a member owner. We hosted a member event right here at Wilbur, featuring international speaker and author and co-op expert John Steinman. We hosted our annual board retreat with John Steinman and our friends at the Portuguese Hall on the South Side. We relaunched the Community Hubs program in the Bethlehem Area School District at Thomas Jefferson Elementary and William Penn Elementary. That is a program where we actually go in and teach people about the co-op who can't maybe afford to join. And if they attend 3 sessions with us, they bring their kids, we feed them, talk to them about food. We ask them what they would like in the store. We give them a free complimentary scholarship to become a member owner of the co-op. And one of our long-term goals is to be able to do that in at least 6 schools in the district. We created a human resources committee, and we hired on May 3rd or May 1st? May 1st of this year, we hired Eric. Summer of 23, board members Justin Beaver and I and Eric went to Sacramento, California to the CCMA conference. It was quite an experience. All the training that we get takes us to another level to bring this store to you, along with what 250 other co-ops and cooperatives are doing all over the country. The board rebranded and renamed, and you're the first to see our new rebrand tonight. We received approval from a co-op called Infra. Infra is a trade organization with over 300 natural retailers and co-ops that cooperatively own Infra. We will be able to purchase natural products at a reasonable cost from this organization. Our Move Committee partnered with Meals on Wheels. You may see a theme here about how we partner a lot in the community, and they now have their Move meetings at Meals on Wheels. We approved our governance manual. We had our first ever DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion discovery session for the board. We intend to expand on that with our member owners. That is Todd's running that program right now. We created an arts committee. Cindy is chairing that. We'll have local artists displaying their art in our store. When you walk into our store, we want you to feel like, I belong here. This is my community. In fall of 23, the co-op treasurer, Dominic, he presented strategies for raising funds to the annual Up and Coming conference in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we were asked to come and actually share what we've done here in Bethlehem with co-ops from around the country. We hired recently Mark Mulcahy, owner of Organic Options, and he's going to help us to design a new purchase policy. Eric? No, Todd. Here, Gail. We're going to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Carol. And hello, everyone. I need to talk really quick because our voting remains open until 7 p.m. tonight. So that's just a couple minutes. We had voting open for our members in good standing. And our candidates, as you can see in the slide this year, were incumbents Dominic Breininger, Cindy Glick, and Tony Marino, and first-time candidate Carol Burns. We offered 3 ways to vote. So we emailed a ballot on September 1st, and we send out 3 reminders through email throughout the month of September, the last one going out yesterday. So if you haven't voted yet, look for the email in your inbox from the Bethlehem Food Co-op. That's one way you can vote. And we thought of everybody who might be listening to the presentation tonight and may not be able to find that email. So if you use the link on this slide, you can click on that. And if you put in your name, your primary email address for the primary member of your household and your member number, you can vote using that link, or just scan the QR code on this slide using your phone, and it will take you to the same place. So 6 minutes to go, and we will announce the results of our elections for this year at the end of our presentation.
Good evening, and thanks for coming tonight. I'm really excited to present a brief overview of my last 5 months as general manager for Bethlehem Food Co-op. So I started with a rigorous training and onboarding schedule. I trained with our project managers at Simplified Business Solutions, attended cooperative classes, seminars, and conferences. And I specifically want to shout out Weaver's Way Co-op in the Philadelphia area. GM John Rosser and his team have been extremely generous with their time and resources, and I continue to partner with the team at Weaver's Way. I consider John a mentor and, more importantly, a friend. Education, training, and partnership never stop, so these activities are ongoing. And speaking of incredible partnerships, our board is truly amazing. This group is dedicated and determined. I have weekly one-on-ones with our board chair to collaborate on every part of the organization, and I work closely with each board member on committee work, community engagement, and much, much more. So now the next question is, who else do we partner with? So we partner with educational institutions such as Northampton Community College. I'll be speaking at their fall update at the end of this month. We partner with the city of Bethlehem, who's been tremendous supporters of this project. We partner with an unbelievable group of community organizations such as Kellen Foundation. We recently joined a press release with the Kellen Foundation in support of strengthening our local food system. And that was alongside the Bethlehem Area School District, Lehigh Valley Health Network, Penn State Extension, the Rodell Institute, Second Harvest Food Bank, and Meals on Wheels. We partner with project managers, consultants, designers, and architects to create the best possible experience. We partner with trade organizations to help us secure great pricing on mainline products. And of course, when we're open, we'll partner with local farmers and producers to stock our store with as much local product as possible. But my favorite part of the job is building relationships with the community. I'm not hard to find. You'll find me tabling at events, speaking in community organizations, and spending lots of time with our member owners and prospective member owners. I love getting into the community, grabbing a local coffee, and spending time with all of you. And I'm really looking forward to the near future when we can say, I'll see you at the co-op. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heather. Last year, we wanted to look for a general manager, so we formed the GM search committee. And after an extensive search, we found Eric, and we are very happy that we did. So after we hired Eric, we were able to disband that committee, and in lieu of having an HR person or an HR department, we formed the HR committee. And so our Human Resources Committee meets pretty often because we're here to assist Eric with a lot of things like developing a training system, developing hiring and possibly firing practices, writing and developing policies and procedures. Eric is also with a lot of training. He's writing the job descriptions and will be posting very shortly some new job postings because we will be hiring some more positions in the very near future. And we're here also just to ensure that the co-op will be adhering to any local, state, and federal laws and regulations. And so one of the first people we will be looking to hire is somebody who knows HR and has an HR background. So once we do that, our committee will most likely disband. So that's it. I will be passing off now to Simplified Business Solutions. They're up on the screen. They are our project managers, and they've been with us for 2 years. And so the project managers are Toby Massey and Shelby Harris.
Okay, so like I was saying, I'm Shelby with Simplified Business Solutions and my colleague Toby. We are SBS. We are the project management team for the co-op and the store project. As the board said, we've been with the co-op since 2020, which in our first order of business was to assist the co-op in lease negotiations and securing the wonderful site at 250 East Broad Street. The photo on your screens right now is what is going to eventually be the home of the co-op. Those 3 big blocks on that bottom row there, those are going to be our windows looking into our store. We manage, as a group here, we manage the design, the fit out, some of the major federal grants, as well as the operational planning for the co-op going forward. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague Toby to talk about some of the site construction updates that you've all been watching happen.
Thanks, Shelby. Congratulations, everyone, on another great year for the co-op, and you're almost there. So site construction updates. Perone Development and Boyle Construction, they've made great progress. The building is coming along incredibly well, quickly. We're in consistent communication with them. They're really excited to get us in there. It's a great partnership. So we anticipate beginning our fit out and taking possession in December of this year. Quick question. You're wondering, well, what's the store fit out? What does that mean? Think of it as remodeling the interior of your home. You're not changing the exterior walls. You're not building the structure, but you're changing the paint, new cabinets, flooring, those types of things. So we're building dividing walls, installing the plumbing and the electrical systems, the finishes, the floors, the walls, the paint, and the decor, the equivalent of your furniture and your paintings or photos that you hang on the walls. Final stages of fit out are making sure that all the systems are in place, like our security systems or computers, our intercom, point of sale, the cash registers, and nowadays all the computers that go along with that. After the fit out is complete, we start stocking the store, testing recipes in the kitchen, hiring and training the majority of our staff to get open. From the store design perspective, last year we were able to share a draft schematic and fixture plans that illustrated the general flow and the arrangement of the store where the departments are going to be placed. That work was substantively complete. Then it gets to the details, right? The devil's in the details. That work's now being translated into construction documents with the aid of the local architecture firm Alloy 5. Construction documents are how you build the fit out. So those are our permitting documents. They go to our contractor, to our subcontractors to plan, estimate, and decide how they're going to attack executing the designs of the store. Our lighting design is currently in place. We're about to move into getting our GC. It's in progress, and it's coming along really, really well. And there's one detail, because of the nature of our funding, and it's pretty neat this way, is that we're actually doing a public bidding process for our general contractor. So if you know folks that are qualified and interested, it'll be on our website, and you can see it there. Shelby?
Absolutely. Store programming updates. Programming refers to what types of service programs and product categories the co-op will carry when it opens next year. Currently, right now, SBS, Eric, and our store design team, 7 Roots, are completing what's called the category planning process. This means actually physically deciding where each category of product is going to be placed in the store. So where does milk go? Where does alternative milks go? Where does canned goods go? Where does cereal go? All of these types of different categories, we're actually physically putting on a map right now to help understand the flow of the store and the natural progression that a customer might take, and really thinking about what is going to best serve the customer as they are walking through. We are also starting to help Mark Mulcahy, as was mentioned earlier, facilitate the creation of the co-op's product policy. And actually, if someone wouldn't mind going to the next slide real quick. As I said, we are currently helping the co-op and Mark Mulcahy facilitate the product policy. This policy is going to help govern what types of products are carried or not carried based on the input from membership and from the community. So if you haven't had a chance already, this has been going out in emails, on social media, on door hangers that some of you might have received on your front steps. But if you haven't had a chance, please go ahead and use this QR code on the screen. You can take a photo of it with your cell phone, with your camera application, and it'll take you to the survey. It's a pretty quick survey, but it just asks a bunch of questions related to the types of products that the co-op may carry next year when we open. The survey is open until this Friday, and we've already had such a great response from the community. We're at over 700 responses from members and the community, and it would be great to ensure that everyone in the room there also gets an opportunity to take the survey. Once we get all of that data, we're going to take all of that data and it's going to be utilized to do a half-day workshop later in October with the board and stakeholders. So stay tuned for more information on that. More information will be coming very soon on that. But the input really does matter, and the input is going to be used in a really specific way that people will be able to see when the stores open next year.
Thanks, Shelby. Yes, please do the survey. Good data makes great decisions. So we have it available both in English and in Spanish. The QR codes are right there. So what's next for operations? The store is projected to open in early 2024. Again, dependent on grant funding as things are processing and making their way through the government. As we all know, right now the government's a little fussy, but things are moving forward there. So that's great news for us. All the foundational operations work that's happened this last year, setting up payroll systems, making some tax changes, insurance processes, identifying store procedures and systems with Eric. It's a lengthy process in determining what we do, how we do it, SOPs, standard operating procedures, who's responsible for what. So we have delegatable timelines and processes for those. We're assisting Eric with finalizing the job descriptions for the next round of hiring for HR, finance, marketing, and an operations manager, which is an important part of the organization, both from an operational standpoint and from a succession standpoint. It's the responsibility of both the board and the general manager to ensure continuity of operations. I like to use, instead of the old phrase, if Eric won the Powerball tomorrow and disappeared to his new private island, how would we run the organization? So we ensure that we have continuity of labor and knowledge and access to make sure that the co-op continues moving. Eric, good luck on the Powerball. With that, an update from Shelby on, as said, the grant situation.
Yeah, Sonny, if you wouldn't mind going, I think backwards, maybe to the grant slide. Perfect. Thank you so much. So the co-op is fortunate to receive 2 major sources of grant funding, federal grant funding, to help support the opening of this store. SBS is managing both of these grants due to the complex federal requirements that both have, as well as the contract review and negotiation process that can happen with federal grants. On SBS's side, we have our Director of Grants, Honora Borden, who has more than a decade of grants management experience. She's not with us today, but she works very, very closely with both the City of Bethlehem and the State of Pennsylvania to help administer both of these grants. The first grant that I just want to talk briefly about is our HUD grant. This is the Housing and Urban Development. That's the federal department that this grant comes from. And it is what's called community project funding. This is the project funding that, thanks to Congresswoman Susan Wild and Senator Bob Casey, they advocated for the co-op to have access to this, and they were really successful in their advocacy. This is a cost reimbursement grant. So I'm sure that a lot of folks have heard that the co-op was awarded the $2.9 million through this grant. But what does cost reimbursement mean? It really means what it sounds like, where the co-op has to expend, they have to make an expense, they have to purchase something or pay for something. And then if that expense is allocable and allowable under the grant guidelines, we then submit for reimbursement to HUD for that money. So it's not as simple as just having, almost $3 million show up in a bank account for us. That would be incredible, of course. But so there is really a lengthy process behind this. This grant has experienced some delays at the federal level. We did not necessarily expect it to take over a year to finally now be in the execution process of this grant. And this is why in part we have had to move the projected grand opening of the date for the co-op into next year. But we, as Carol mentioned at the start of the meeting tonight, we are now finally at an execution point. We just finalized our sub-award agreement between the co-op and the City of Bethlehem. And the City of Bethlehem is just waiting on a countersigned contract from Housing and Urban Development. So we are looking at being weeks away from finally being able to execute this grant and actually submit our first reimbursement to HUD and hopefully start to see a really positive cash flow start to happen for the co-op. The next piece of funding that we are responsible for managing is called, it's the American Rescue Plan Act funding, so ARPA, as you may have heard it. This particular set of funding comes thanks to Senator Viscola for advocating for this grant funding to be allocated to the co-op. And this is for $100,000, and it's going to be utilized on the design and project management costs for the co-op. So all of the planning and design that it takes to get to those construction plan documents that Toby was talking about earlier, that's exactly where this funding is going to be utilized.
Announcement to make. I got the contract today for the Senator Buscola money. So I'll be signing that tomorrow and we will be on our way. Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Justin, and I'm here to talk to you about the sourcing committee. So basically, the purpose of this committee is to keep things fun, fresh, and flavorful within our co-op. So this is kind of like one of the most important and passionate factors of the co-op process that I've been a part of. So I'm excited to represent this committee. So we're going to do this by working with local farmers and local producers in the area in order to ensure that our co-op stays like uniquely Bethlehem. And also, we created 2 lists in the past month. They go into quite some detail, but basically, the first list that we created was a local vendor list to narrow down our search for compatible partners moving on in the future. And our second list that we created was basically dedicated to local delicacies, like different foods that make our area unique and things that we would like to see in the market from like a very local standpoint, right? And all of this work is basically to kind of create a guideline for Eric and the rest of the co-op staff when they take over in the future. So they kind of have like a solid direction and a plan. Basically, the future of this committee, I would really like to draft a charter and start to incorporate membership after we really nail down our product policy. And that's where we need your help by, filling out the survey. It'll give us, a really invaluable tool, which is the direct feedback from our members. And that's what matters the most. One other little document that Eric drafted, right?
Yeah, thanks, Justin. So one of the items we're collaborating on is behind me, and it's part of our vendor application packet. This packet will have a one-page checklist that you see above for vendors that want to wholesale with BFC. So in addition, the packet will also contain comprehensive wholesale guide that will offer vendors instruction on where to acquire the needed paperwork. It will also include annotated forms to assist even further. This is just another way we're supporting small local vendors.
Gail. Hi, everybody. I'm Dominic. I am the treasurer. And now for the reason why you really came tonight, lots of financial data. Most interesting piece. So I'm going to present a couple things here. First, Shelby touched on some of this already, but how are we funding our store? We've got a graph here. It is a little bit of an eye chart, maybe. I'm not sure if you can read it all, but most of our money is coming from grants, particularly the community funded project grant that Senator Casey and Susan Wild help us obtain. That's $2.9 million. And this is unique and special for the Bethlehem Food Co-op. This is one of the reasons why, as Carol mentioned earlier on, we were asked to speak at the annual Food Co-op conference so that we could help other co-ops learn how this grant came our way. And the short answer is all of you. I mean, having an engaged membership is a gigantic part of this, having the relationships with our city and with our local representatives and making sure they understand the project and how close the community is to it really got us this money. So thank you for all the support that you've been giving us. Outside of grants, we've got member equity. So these are all the membership payments that you're making as members. Some special events that we do, like, t-shirt sales go into this bucket more or less. It's not an equity share, but it categorizes that way. Naming opportunities. So some of you may be aware that we're giving the opportunity to name different aspects of the store. Whether they be bulk item bins or checkout lines. It's been a way for us to raise money, and we've been having a pretty big success on that here. Tenant improvements, this is part of our lease agreement. So as we're taking over a space that's going to be basically a white box, our landlords have part of our lease agreement have given us money to build out the space for retail use. Because it's to both our benefit and their benefit that space is built out for the store. And then lastly, donations. So money that just comes in as, hey, we want to help you. Most people are members who give donations. Some are not, but believe in the store and what we're trying to do here. So that's where a lot of our funding is coming from. And we're lucky to be one of the very few co-ops around the United States that will open without having debt service to pay off. So a really big accomplishment, mostly because of the grant money that we received. Now, about the finances. So they've gotten really complicated in the last couple of years. And Shelby touched on some of this when it comes to how to manage a federal grant. So some examples of the complexity: each grant has specific usage and requirements. Each comes with a contract. Each comes with a expected use, how to use it, audit reports that need to occur. Whether it's a reimbursement grant, like is working with our community fund, or whether it's a cash deposit. They look much different, and our bookkeeping needs to keep track of all of that. And so what that creates for us is a challenge around cash flow management. So for big purchases where we want to use a reimbursement grant, we have to make sure we've got the cash first and then get the reimbursement for it. And then the other thing that's creating complexity is a large number of expense transactions leading up to the store opening, right? You can imagine what it takes just buying a new home or, renovating your home. Think about it in terms of a store that you're leasing and trying to build from the ground up. And the reason I bring this up is to describe some of the partnerships that we've decided to bring on. One is a grant administrator, and that's part of our project management team. Shelby talked about Honora. Has been amazing working with the city, the state, and the federal governments to make sure that we've got the right language in the grant contracts that is beneficial to us, and we understand what we need to do to be compliant with the contracts. The other thing that we recently did was we brought on an accounting firm, CLA, Clifton Larson Allen is the name of the company. They have experience of working with other co-ops, but they're helping us with our ledger of accounts, managing the ins and outs, keeping track of the ledger in the way that it could be reported to federal agencies that might want to audit us because of the large grants that we have. So that's been a necessary hire. And part of the work that we're doing, particularly with the large grants, is now creating the need for more recurring and official P&L statements, balance sheets, and financial reports. So our accounting firm is helping with us with that too. And here is not it's not meant to be consumed as just an example of one of the financial reports that we are now issuing, which is our profit and loss statement, which we'll do on at least a quarterly basis for the time being, maybe more frequently as we move on. One of the hires that we will make as part of Eric's leadership team will be accounting and a finance person. They will work with these agencies. They'll work with our accounting firm to make sure that our books are up to speed and where they need to be. And thanks for listening. And I'll turn it over to more interesting and fun things now.
Good evening, everyone. I am thrilled to chair the MOVE Committee. We meet monthly, usually the first Monday of every month, but of course, this is the first Monday of this month, so we'll be meeting next week. We are doing all kinds of we strategize opportunities and explore events which prominently place us in the community and help us to grow our membership. And Kathy will be talking to you about membership going forward. As Carol mentioned, we're currently working in the schools in the surrounding area of the co-op. We're providing educational resources for families and students, as well as gaining input from them regarding their expectations for the grocery store. We are so grateful to those people who have volunteered this year for the co-op, and volunteering has really moved us forward. You have no idea how important you all are when you're helping us out. Commitment and dedication to a stronger community and ultimately a better society. Please. On wheels this month. And by the way, what we're working on, kind of an idea, is the Halloween parade in Bethlehem. We're looking for some ideas. We're thinking maybe we're gonna try to get, I don't know, maybe a float. Anybody got any ideas? So come and join us at the MOVE Committee. And we're gonna be working on all kinds of strategies as we go through the winter and move on to our opening. Thank you.
Hello again. As Carol mentioned, I'm on point for our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, which continue to evolve. This year, we partnered with Dr. Franca Robal Fernandez, who's a DEI practitioner, and held our first board discovery session with her on August 29th. Our product policy team also leveraged Franca to consult on the survey Justin shared with you a little bit earlier. As a result of the board's workshop, which also included our general manager, Eric, we established a work in progress framework, which I would like to share with you. It consists of the 5 pillars you see on the slide: presence and representation, partnership and advocacy, accessibility, the co-op's platform of being pro-human rights, and education. It is these 5 starting points or pillars that we will use to begin to frame out our vision, strategy, plans, and policy that encompasses DEI. So in regards to our next steps, one of the first times I met Franca was actually through Kelly Allen, who was once part of the board. And we met at Lit over on the South Side. And she looked at me and she said, "What is a middle-aged white guy doing leading DEI?" So we need to form a committee. And we definitely want that committee to represent our owners and members. So watch for information on how to join our committee around diversity, equity, and inclusion. Once that committee is formed, we'll work on establishing our charter, and we'll be developing a plan and actionable priorities. And we'll be working with our governance team on policy. Now I'm going to hand it back to Deb.
Back to me again. The work of governance is to establish the platform by which we conduct ourselves and perform the tasks that inform sound business practices. This is an exciting time for all of us as we gain momentum toward the successful opening of our cooperative. I am so pleased to report that in April of this year, as Carol mentioned, we approved our governance policy manual. This defines and clarifies the expectations and responsibilities of the working relationship with our general manager. As we transition from a working board to a governing board, we're going to be doing that shortly. It's kind of in transition now. It consists, this policy and manual consists of statements which outline the results for which the co-op exists, the outcomes desired for our customers, and the value of this entire initiative. The manual seeks to bind directors and board members to the intentional effort through continual monitoring and proper implementation. So on to our next steps. As Todd just mentioned, our immediate focus is on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We will be working together to create a framework by which policy will be developed and set in place that directly addresses diversity, equity, and inclusion. Please stay tuned as we plan to survey our members, but additionally, we're going to be seeking input from the community as we move forward to assure our adherence to the cooperative principles of co-ops. Thank you for all that you're doing to help us. And although governance isn't necessarily a flavorful subtopic, it's something that we really have to continue to focus on and assure that the general manager and the board are working to better serve all of you.
Hello, I'm Cindy Glick, and I'm excited to chair the Arts Committee. It's a fairly new project of bringing art into the store, local art into the store, not only to make it more appealing in the store, but also to showcase some of our local artists. The Arts Committee is made up of 7 members, including myself and our board chair and our general manager and other members of the co-op who have some experience in public art. And what we're doing is we're putting out a call for a lead artist. We're looking for an experienced artist to design and lead the creation of a large art installation on the theme of eating local, community, and food culture. The commissioned art will be in a prominent area of the store. And what will the artist be responsible for? The lead artist will be working with the Bethlehem Food Co-op Arts Committee. To lead artist will be responsible for developing the concept and design the art piece, selecting a medium and purchasing materials, managing a team of cooperatively selected artists, and supervising the art offsite. The art will be done offsite and then installed in the store once the inside of the store is ready for it. And coordinating with the project team to ensure the art installation stays within outlined parameters and of course on budget. There'll be more information on this on our website in the coming week or so. So if you know of an artist who might be interested in
applying for the lead artist position, or maybe even becoming a member of the team led by the lead artist, please let them know about this. We'll be sending out more information soon.
Hey, everybody. So for the past year and a half, maybe a little bit more, myself, the branding committee, and the board of directors have been working on a new brand for the co-op. Just a little few points about our current brand. So it's been in use since 2013 when our co-op was formed. It's a very great logo, but it has a very grassroots feel to it. Feels like an organization. And so the colors of the logo are a little bit dark, and the scale and the layout is a little bit difficult for the various amounts of formats and layouts we need for the grocery store. Another problem that we've had over the past few years is people who are not part of the co-op or are not familiar with the co-op have had some misconceptions about what we are and what we'll be. A lot of people have thought, well, maybe it's a CSA, or is it a bulk buying produce program? So the word cooperative and the Bethlehem Food Cooperative has kind of led people to misunderstand that we're going to be a grocery store that's going to focus on local quality ingredients. So the branding committee, the board, and our very talented graphic designers and branding companies that we've worked with have reinvented the co-op. And we have a new name, we have a new brand, and we have a logo. So, without further ado, we are the Bethlehem Co-op Market. And as you can see, it's a very familiar logo. It's nothing very drastic. We feel the name is very clear and the public will know that we're a grocery store. Driving past the store on Broad Street, you see the word market, you see the Bethlehem, you word Bethlehem. And if you don't know what the word co-op is, at least you know that you're gonna go shopping there. We feel like the logo is very simple, easy and recognizable, and it still feels like the Bethlehem Food Co-op logo. It has our to be debated radish, turnip, let's just say root vegetable icon, and you know, the very similar font that feels a little bit more modern, feels a little bit more updated. So we worked really hand in hand with Aurora Design, our graphic designers, and you know, we came up with a beautiful logo, and we think it's going to represent the store really well. So as you can see here, just a few different ways that, you know, we'll be incorporating it through the store. Top left would be an example of what our website looks like after the rebrand hits the website. Maybe some different signage throughout the store. And then of course, you know, food packaging and takeout containers, some reusable grocery store bags, maybe some coffee cups and merchandise, some staff attire, and then obviously, you know, some merchandise that our members and the public can buy as well. So we hope you like our brand, and we're very excited to launch it when we open the store.
Okay, now we're going to talk about my favorite subject, membership. And I'm going to repeat a little bit of what Deb had said earlier, because I work hand in hand with the MOVE committee. During our last meeting, we announced 1,202 members, and as of today, we just got a new member yesterday. We have 1,442 members, and that is 240 more members this year. So how do we do it? Well, I want to say thank you so much to the volunteers. We want to express our sincere appreciation for the dozens of volunteers that help the co-op. We scheduled over 60 events this year. Among them are tabling at various farmers markets and festivals, giving presentations at a variety of community groups, hosting educational webinars with the library, holding community hubs meetings in the elementary schools, house parties, and social gatherings for our member owners. We hope you've attended one or more of our events or stopped by at the farmers market to say hello. Additionally, thank you to our volunteers who are behind the scenes as they work on our print news releases, social media, create graphics, do radio and TV interviews. They type documents in minutes, update our website, sit on committees, etc. Whether you volunteered once, a few times, or many times, you are appreciated. We could not have gathered so many new members this year without your contributions. I invite you to please look at our website under What's Cooking to see the events that are coming up in October and the future. So you may ask again, how are we going to move forward to greater success? Well, we have a challenge for you. Building our food co-op is about much more than creating a grocery store. We are building a more resilient and inclusive community for everyone in Bethlehem. And we are helping to build a more sustainable local food system and local economy in the Lehigh Valley. And in order to do this, we need you. We need your voice and vision and your help. And we need the voice and vision and help of your friends, family, neighbors, and coworkers. As we move forward toward our goal to be the first grocery store in the nation to open without any debt, member equity share payments are necessary capital contributions that allow us to improve our cash flow and effectively and responsibly use our reimbursement federal grant. So here is our challenge to you. Help your co-op get to 1,700 members prior to opening. We ask you and all our members to tell your friends, your family, coworkers, and neighbors about why you joined the Bethlehem Food Co-op and ask them to join with you as a member owner to support this healthy, inclusive community endeavor. There is a statistical correlation between the strong success of a grocery food co-op and the number of members it has. The more members, the greater the success. So think about this. You own the co-op. You have a stake in the success of your co-op. And we know you want your co-op to be very successful. So we ask each and every one of you to bring in one or two new people or organizations to join you and become member owners in our community co-op. Are you ready to take this challenge? I know you are. So be a member, get a member. And thank you so much for your support. And together we will be successful.
How about that bee wall? Doesn't that look awesome? That is one of the designs that we'll see in the store. And you have the opportunity, a number of people have done this already. We are going to be, if anybody would like to purchase a little honeycomb in the bee wall, we are going to be selling these. They will be in the store for 10 years. It'll create a legacy for you and your family. This is our $1,000, whoops, I hit the wrong button. Our $1,000 honeycomb, our $500, and our $250. If you're interested, come see me afterwards. We'll take your name down and I'll call you. We certainly do appreciate everybody who's invested into the bee wall already, but can you imagine seeing this live in the store and the impact it'll have on who we are and what we represent in the community? Next. What's next? We're going to open the store. Yes, we are in early 2024. And as you can see, this group of hardworking volunteers has brought us to this. In addition to opening the store, we have a number of things coming up. Number one, Wednesday night. Speaking of Kathy, Wednesday night, we have an event at Tostique on the south side of Bethlehem from 5 to 7. If you bring a friend and they join, and they're one of the first 5 that join, they get a free gift card from generously donated by Tostique. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a sort of a eclectic sandwich and juice bar kind of place. And also, they'll have free tastings that evening and free juice tastings also. I'd like to welcome our project managers on October 20th and 21st. That's when we will be putting together our new product policy. Toby and Shelby, who you saw here on the film, so to speak, will be coming to Bethlehem, and they're going to be meeting with all the folks that they've been talking to on phone and on Zoom for many long months. We're going on the road with Eric. He's going out to speak. He's done a number of speaking engagements in the community. If you have a organization you belong to that you would like to share our vision with, Eric would be more than happy to speak. If he can't speak, one of the board members might be able to come and speak. So we would be more than happy to do that. And he'll be at the Northampton Community College. I'm going to be speaking at the PASA conference in Lancaster in February.
Good evening. Before I announce the results, bear with me, a few thank yous. First off, Tony, what a really cool slide. Thank you for that. Second, Johnny Q. I'm not sure if I saw him here or not, but Johnny was the guy who helped us build and produce the videos that if any of you went to our website to get more information on our candidates, he put those together and did a really, really super job. Kathy Fox, who took the lead on making sure our member in good standing list was accurate and that we had good email addresses for all of them. To all of our members who voted, thank you. And finally, and most important, thanks to our 4 candidates for their interest in serving on the board. We had a total of 541 good standing members who voted, representing 41% of the 1,332 who were sent ballots. Just for comparison's sake, last year it was 1,133 voters with 39% voting. So we did a little bit better this year. And now, without further ado, the newly elected board members are Carol Burns with 399 votes, Dominic Breininger with 375 votes, and Cindy Glick with 370 votes. Congratulations.
Okay, it is time for member input, a comment or questions regarding our annual report. Is there anybody in the audience if you'd raise your hand, I invite you up here because I think we're going to have to use the mic. Anybody have any questions or comments? Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you. Couldn't do it without him. Let's see. How about comments from the audience? None right now? No questions? No comments? Going once, going twice? Yes, Virginia. Yes.
Yeah.
And Erica. But Erica, do you want to repeat the question?
Yeah, thank you for the feedback. We actually took a tour of the Banana Factory with our design team, board member, and a couple volunteers. We were going to definitely partner with them and some of the artists there. We plan on putting out a press release very, very soon to put a call out for local artists to help us really transform our space.
We're hoping that we'll work with, we're hoping that the lead artist brings in some school kids too, that, make that kind of a project and include our children in the community who are interested in doing the art piece.
Thank you for coming out. We certainly do appreciate your support. Congratulations to the candidates. Congratulations to those who ran. We appreciate that also. And to the ones who won.
I look forward to the next year. We are going to see things happening. If you think it happened last year, wait till you see next year. Thank you and good night.